What's up, everybody? You're listening to episode 6 of Pretty Much Anything Nerdy, a podcast about nerd culture and the things happening in it. I'm your host, Merrick Legutki, joined today with my co-host, Lake Sprenkle.
Hey, guys.
And the wonderful Kaitie Sprenkle.
Hello.
Today we'll be discussing our thoughts on Captain Marvel, as well as we're going to get into Endgame a little bit, talk about what we think is going to happen. But first, it's been a while. We double recorded the last time we did some episodes, so it was probably about almost a month ago that we last recorded. Let's catch up.
It's been a while. Yeah, well, obviously we double recorded because we got married.
Woo!
Yeah, we were all present and accounted for there.
We all showed up. We were all on time.
Yeah.
Good job, guys.
It did happen.
Yeah, I'm proud of you guys.
All good and fun stuff. And then we also went on our honeymoon, which was a lot of fun.
That's exciting. What'd you guys do?
Yeah, so we went to Disneyland for a couple days, and then we also went on a Disney cruise, which was pretty cool. And also quite a bit of nerdy stuff happening in that.
Well, anytime you're deep in the Disney culture, you got some nerd in there. So
Yeah, there were a couple different things I wanted to kind of catch up and talk about. Obviously, Disney owns a lot of properties. They have a lot of different rides and stuff. And we really haven't talked about any of the stuff over here just because it's, I guess, more common knowledge to us. But it was cool over there seeing what they had. One thing specific that caught my eye was they have the Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout ride. And if you don't know what this is similar to the Walt Disney World's Tower of Terror. It's actually what it was before, but they re-themed it to Guardians of the Galaxy. So the theme is, it's the Collector, Tavan,
Yeah, his
sorry.
name's a mouthful.
Collection.
Tavan, yes. You're basically in his, museum, and he's collected the Guardians of the Galaxy. So you go in, and basically this whole building is just Marvel references.
That's awesome.
They have, a Cosmo the dog. At one point, during, the waiting queue, they show you a video, and I was kind of looking around, and they actually have one of the, laser guns that Hydra uses in the first Captain America.
Oh, that's
it was,
awesome.
Right behind us, so we saw it right away.
I really want to go back and look around this more. We ran out of time, but there were so many.
So the whole thing with it is I'm not a thrill ride junkie, so I was kind of building up courage to go on it. So one morning we went and got up when there wouldn't be a ride, and so I didn't have time to freak out, and so that meant we didn't get to really stay in the queue as long, and we never got back over there to go on it. But it was a great ride.
Yeah, it was really cool. They have an animatronic of Rocket.
Awesome.
And it actually it's pretty decent.
Yeah.
That's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
That's a good theme for a ride, the Collector, because there's so much you could fit in to keep people entertained.
Well, it's so funny, because this is years ago when they first announced that they were going to do it, probably at this point, maybe about 2 years when they announced it. People, and including myself, were really skeptical about it, because of how they were overlaying Tower, We're like, oh, well, I mean, it's already set up. They're not building a new ride. They're not knocking anything down. How good can it be? And I was blown away by how good it was, so.
I like it more than Tower of Terror. I think it's a lot more fun. It's more entertaining.
Relevant, maybe.
There's more screens that you go by. So, you go through and you see basically Rocket's shadow on top of your elevator. And then eventually he plugs something in, and he's hacking in, and then your elevator drops.
Yeah. So you're looking at a screen, and the other cool thing about it is they got all the actors from the movie, so it's the real people.
It's the real actors
in the
and
movie,
voices.
and their voices. So it's very authentic feeling, and you see them a few times.
Yeah, there's different screens. They're fighting
cool.
and stuff.
Yeah.
And, someone plugs something in and you go up and
it has
whatnot.
The music. It's loud. It's fun. It's a lot of fun.
Sounds like I'd enjoy that a lot more than the Tower of Terror.
Yeah, I don't think I would.
I'm terrified of heights.
So you don't really
You don't really notice stuff.
You don't feel that you're up high, because I don't really like heights either. Because you don't see how high you are. You just feel the dropping feeling. So it's not as bad as if you were out in the open on one of those drop rides, like Fearfall, Dr. Doom's Fearfall.
I haven't been on it. It's too scary.
No, yeah,
that's out in the open.
You don't really notice you're up high. It's 90% enclosed.
So it's mostly just dropping.
And in fact, only at one point they open up the doors and you can see outside. And it's kind of funny because Rocket, Bradley Cooper's voice goes, "Oh, is that Disneyland?"
Yeah.
Because you can see out over it. And then you fall again and you don't even
the
realize.
third wall.
Yeah.
Or fourth wall.
Yeah, fourth wall.
Yeah. It was pretty funny.
But it's cool too because that was kind of like their first big Marvel ride, and they're building a whole new Marvel area. Although I don't think they can technically call it Marvel Land. There's like still some weird like
copyright
stuff. Things, but they are, you know, we could kind of see where they had closed off the construction and everything. So we'll definitely want to go back out when that opens back up.
They actually just made some announcements about this too recently. So what they did to get around not calling it Marvel Rides, they created like a second company within the Marvel universe called Web. And it looks vaguely like a Spider-Man logo.
Yeah.
And they just announced their first ride that they're doing in this area is a Spider-Man ride.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
No real details about it other than that. But, you know, should be pretty cool. Excited to see more Marvel things being incorporated. Obviously, we get our own Guardians of the Galaxy ride here.
I'm so excited for that.
I love that it's gonna be completely different than Mission Breakout. So it's not gonna be a copycat.
Yeah,
you know.
It'd be hard for them to copy it because we already have the Tower of Terror over here.
I think people would revolt here if they tried to like do that again.
Yeah.
I would honestly, after riding it, I'd be okay with it.
I would be totally okay with it, but I think the fans of Tower would
It's cool to have one old and one new.
Yeah.
And it gives you a reason to do both.
Well, you don't need copies all over the world, too.
Yeah.
It's after a certain point, it gets a little annoying, I think.
Yeah. Keeps it exciting.
Other thing that's cool, though, is they are able to have the characters out there. So they currently even have a meet and greet with Captain Marvel.
Yeah, it had just started, like, a couple days before we got there.
Yeah.
It was cool.
Yeah, and they have, like, her picture is pretty cool because they have a bit of, like, her fighter jet in the background.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, you get a really cool backdrop.
It's a pretty good shot.
Yeah. Oh, that's pretty sweet.
But we also saw Spider-Man meeting.
Captain America. And on the cruise ship, too, they also had Marvel characters out doing meet and greets. They had Captain America, Spider-Man, and Black Widow certain days.
Yeah, because they do those special Marvel cruises. This wasn't one of those, though, so I was actually surprised. I didn't think they were going to have any Marvel characters.
Yeah.
It's probably depending on what, friends of characters are available on that ship. But,
yeah.
Cool.
But it was cool, too. Just other nerdy things. Obviously, you get to see a lot of inspiration for different movies and old history in the Disneyland park, opposed to ours. Obviously, they have the original Pirates of the Caribbean, which has spawned this whole entire franchise.
It's
so much better than ours.
Is it really?
Oh my gosh,
so much better than ours.
It was amazing.
It's
longer.
It has everything ours has, plus.
So
it's really cool to see it,
Yeah. I mean, the more I think about it, I feel like it wouldn't be, I don't want to say it wouldn't be that hard to improve on the one we have. Because I feel like the one that we have, it's good and it holds like a special place in my heart.
Well, you can say, because you just said you don't realize
what you're missing.
Yeah.
But it was pretty cool though. They have an Indiana Jones ride, which is pretty cool. Have you ever ridden the dinosaur ride here?
No, I don't think I have. Actually, no, I know I haven't because I just recently found out that was a thing. I just found out from Nick.
Next time you go, I don't know. Next time you go to Disney but it's a fun ride.
We'll try to get you on it.
Yeah,
but it's the same exact ride mechanism as that, but the Indiana Jones one, amazing. One of my favorite rides.
I love Indiana Jones.
I knew he would like it. I was excited for him to go.
That's sweet. Yeah, that's cool because we have an Indiana Jones show. Yeah.
The show is cool, though.
Yeah, the show is cool.
I like it.
It's held up pretty well.
Yeah.
With the test of time.
I remember, I think I went to Disney with a couple of my friends. I think we were sophomores, so we were 16. And, in the show, they ask for volunteers, but you have to be 18 or older. Mm-hmm. And we were like, all right, what are the odds that if we volunteer, like, they'll actually check how old we are? And we were really close to raising our hands, and then the kid's mom went with, like, smacked us all in the back of the head. She's like, you guys aren't 18, don't even try.
Were you in the show?
No, we didn't get to be in the show. We were trying to get in the show.
No, but,
volunteer.
were you in the show when they asked for volunteers?
Oh, yeah.
You have to actually go early.
Is that how? Yes, so it's all for show?
Because they have, like, an audition. You go, because you have to sign, like, release forms.
Yeah, you have to sign release forms and stuff.
So...
That makes sense.
They have, like, a casting call before the
show. Okay.
But, so you can't go and you can be, like, in the audience.
Yeah.
They are, because it was funny because we were at a show once in this, it was a younger girl raised her hand to volunteer and the person they had already picked was near her and they thought they pointed at her and so she kept trying to walk up and she was like 12. She was like way too young to do it
Yeah.
anyway, but like it was, you could tell they were off script trying to get her to
Yeah,
sit
like,
back
oh,
down.
no, you can sit down.
I don't know if
Yeah.
you remember that.
Yeah,
So,
no one wants to break a 12-year-old's
show.
heart.
Yeah, cool stuff. Obviously, their Galaxy's Edge is much closer to being finished because theirs opens in a month now.
Yeah.
Wow.
We could see it.
We could see it from the room, actually.
No
Mountains
way, I
from
bet
our
that
hotel,
was
yeah.
awesome.
We were on a ride too. When we rode Thunder Mountain, you can kind of see into it because everything's so kind of close and not hidden quite as well as it is at ours.
But yeah, it was pretty cool. There was probably a lot of other things I could mention, but we're gonna keep it moving along. But it was pretty cool.
Awesome. I'm trying to think. I don't really think I have anything to catch up on. I've kind of been sitting around the last couple weeks. I visited my grandparents this last weekend. Finally saw Captain Marvel. That's why we're doing this topic today. Yes, I'm excited to talk about that. Other than that, nothing too exciting was going on in the world of Merrick.
Yeah. Well, that was with us too. We got to see it. They play it on the cruise ship for us. So that's when we got to watch Captain Marvel as well. Another cool thing.
Yeah, it was hard to wait. I mean, I know you had to wait.
We only waited a couple of days, though.
Yeah, there was a lot of stuff going on. I think building up to knowing I was going to have to wait was worse than the actual wait itself. So.
Yeah, accepting that you have to wait is always the hard part.
But yeah, other than that, we don't have else too much that we did. That was a whole big adventure in itself. It was almost a 2-week vacation for us, which was amazing.
Nice, very nice.
Yeah, not this weekend, but basically the weekend after this podcast comes out, we are running in the Star Wars half marathon, which is pretty cool. The theme is Rivals. So
yeah, we're doing the whole challenge.
Yeah, we're doing the whole challenge. So I think the challenge is like Marvel and Ray, yeah. The whole challenge is Kylo and Ray.
Yeah.
And I think the 10K is Solo and Boba Fett.
Yeah.
And then the half is Luke and Vader. The medals look really cool for it.
I'm sure they do.
I'm excited to see the shirts and the merch.
Yeah, I'm excited too. So in the past, this race used to be only dark side themed because out in California, when they had races, they had the light side, we had the dark side. The California races have gone away recently.
Definitely.
So now it was kind of awkward only having dark side, so they changed our theme. So I'm excited.
You have to have balance in the Force.
Yeah, there must always be balance in the Force.
So I'm excited to see what changes they make, whether it's characters and whatnot. And you actually got to pick your side for it as well.
Yeah, so I think you did light side, and I did dark side.
That is so funny. I would have definitely assumed the opposite. I thought he would have picked dark.
That's what I feel like, so that's why I picked dark.
Ooh.
I wanted to be, I was pro-light as well.
Oh, really? So I'm thrown on my head here. I was not ready for either of those things.
But yeah, pretty excited about that. And then, what about the other race?
Yeah, so so Disney for a few years now has done, like summer virtual runs. And if you don't know what a virtual run is, it's basically honor system. You sign up, you get a bib, you go out on your own time and run whatever the distance is. So these are 5Ks, and then you put in whatever your time is, and they send you a medal. And Disney's been doing this for a few years, but this year they're doing Marvel themed. So I think this is going to be the first year we actually sign up and do them because we want the Marvel medals. But
they're pretty cool.
Yeah, I want a Marvel medal.
Yeah, no,
hearing about this gets me really excited.
I was telling people all at work today. I was like getting people who like would never run a 5K in their lives to be like, oh yeah, I'll do that. But so one medal is Captain Marvel, and her symbol. One is Black Panther, and one is Iron Man. And then if you sign up and do all three and pay a little bit of extra money, you get a special challenge medal, which is like a Marvel 80th anniversary symbol.
That's awesome. And when are these?
You can do them any point during the summer, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like one per month technically.
Yeah.
But again,
July,
it's like
August.
honor system. You could literally go and just pay for these medals.
No, I think I want to earn it.
Yeah.
I think I want.
Yeah, there is something about going out and being like, oh, I got to do it. I actually, for Mother's Day, the first year they did this, I signed my mom up for it. It was, I think, Mickey Mouse themed. So medal were like a Mickey glove, his pants, his shoes.
My sister did it the year it was Pluto themed.
Yeah.
All right.
She liked it a lot.
So I know you've brought up a couple times the guy that wears princess dresses to the races. Would there be could I show up to one of the races in full Star-Lord garb, or is that?
Yeah.
So I could.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
the
These are
Marvel ones are
virtual.
virtual, though.
Oh.
So you're just, like,
I mean, you
doing it
could-
on your own.
Yeah, you could like
Oh,
go out to the lake. And
okay, so
wear
I can still
Star-Lord.
go to Lake
But-
Hollingsworth,
but-
dressed up as
Absolutely.
Star-Lord,
Yeah.
and just
But
walk
to your
the
point,
the
but to
5K.
your point at the Disney races that are on property, like you could wear that. You'd have to
Mhm.
wear your bib, and then there's certain things you can't carry with you. Like on the Star Wars, I think they specifically say to not bring lightsabers.
No, you can bring lightsabers, but you can't bring, like, I believe,
Blasters.
toy blasters.
That
Toy
makes
guns.
sense. Yeah,
But they
that's
do
fair enough.
actually, they say you're allowed to bring a
And you
lightsaber.
can't wear, let's say you're dressed like Darth Vader. You can't wear like a full-on cape that drags on the ground.
That's a good idea. So no one
You
trips.
can't
Yeah.
wear masks, like so you really.
I don't
guess-
think I'd want to
Well,
run
I
in
guess
this.
you want to.
I don't think I'd want to run in this Star-Lord.
You can't really.
Yeah,
do
you
Darth
wouldn't be
Vader
able to be
without a
Darth Vader,
mask.
Oh
But,
man, running
yeah.
in a helmet would be awful. It'd
Yeah.
just be bumping up and down
So
on
we're
your face.
excited about the nerdy 5Ks that we're going to do this summer.
Yeah, I am. I'm excited about the Star Wars one too. I think
Yeah.
that the Disney ones are in the
They're so
nerdy
fun.
realm, but the Star Wars one is definitely like
Oh
way
yeah,
more.
they do
so I'd
like
be
they do some like really in depth trivia
I'm
before
sure.
them. Like I learned stuff watching
Yeah.
the trivia
And
they do before the race
the
starts.
501st cosplay Legion.
Yeah, the Legion,
They
yeah.
always come and
Yeah.
do some of the characters, so you get some of those really cool niche. You get like the custom Mandalorians and stuff.
Yeah, they have some sweet. I think they've been at just about every con I've been to.
They're all
And
over,
yeah, they always have the coolest looking stuff. It always makes me want to do like a Star Wars cosplay, and I'm like, I don't think I'd make it look that good.
There's been a 501st group that's done some Wookiees that weren't like Disney's Chewbacca Wookiees, and I am amazed at how good
They're so
costumes
cool.
are.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
I can only imagine. I remember last year at MegaCon, they had like a whole section like where you could take pictures. Like they had like the homes from Tatooine, and like
Yeah.
they had a speeder there,
So cool.
and then near where you could take pictures, they had just kind of a lineup of like custom like costumes they made. Like they had a bunch of Mandalorian armors out and some like battle Jedi stuff. It was pretty neat. 501st always does great stuff.
Yeah, they're pretty cool. But moving on, Merrick, what have you watched?
Let's see. I'm trying to think. Other than just watching the animes that I've brought up recently, I've kept up with Promised Neverland, Shield Hero, those animes that I brought up the last episode.
I am going to start Shield Hero this week. With
It's pretty
Promised
good.
Neverland wrapping up, I'm really excited about it.
Yeah. And Promised Neverland was amazing. Our next episode actually should be, I'm pretty sure we're focusing on
it's
the
gonna
Promised
be-
Neverland.
Yep.
So I'm excited for that. Now would be a good time for you to do Shield Hero because Shield Hero is getting a full 25. So
Oh, interesting.
yeah, that'll work out. You'll be able to catch up, and then there will be more for you to watch. Other than that, I'm trying to think. I watched all the Rocky movies. That doesn't really fit in nerd culture,
Yes, it does.
but yeah, you know
Maybe
what?
still
I think it
count.
does.
Talk about
Yeah.
whatever you need.
Yeah, and so the reason I watched those was I watched Creed 1 and 2 with my grandmother, and Creed 2 might be one of my favorite movies I've seen like in recent times. It was amazing. I was blown away by it. Michael B. Jordan's just killer in it. He's great in everything he's in. And then there just happened to be the Rocky movies on. And actually, this does fit perfectly into nerd culture, because in Rocky 4, Rocky gets his brother-in-law a robot. And it's the most bizarre thing since the film was released in like the early 90s. And it's so weird. It's comical, like watching this portrayal of a robot. It's supposed to be like a robot butler. And it's the weirdest, funniest thing. But yeah, other than that, I haven't watched anything too new or
This
exciting.
reminds me a lot of the Michael Scarn movie from The Office,
with
Yep.
where Dwight's a
the
robot.
Yeah,
He's
it's
not really a robot.
I guess I did let him be a robot.
But
Yeah.
then he is a robot.
that is pretty funny. But yeah, you guys been watching anything?
Not really. Like I said, since we got back, I pretty much been catching up. Usually just the usuals. Slime,
Mhm.
as you mentioned, Promised Neverland, and Sword Art Online. But really, I haven't gotten anything new to talk about.
Yeah, something cool real quick, just because you just mentioned them. It's awesome, and I love that they've already announced the next seasons of Slime and The Promised
Yes, they
Neverland.
did. I did see that.
Yeah, I think everyone knew that we'd be getting a second season, but sometimes it's tricky with anime. You never know when that second season is going to be. So it's exciting that they'll both be coming next year.
Yeah, I am excited. Obviously, in the next couple weeks, we are getting the restart of Attack on Titan,
Yep.
as well as One Punch Man.
Yeah.
So 2 things to be excited about.
Yeah, I'm excited for both of those. It'll be a good season of anime again.
For sure, yeah. What have we played?
So let's see. So PlayStation Plus every month you get 2 free games. The free game this month was Call of Duty 4. a game that we grew up on. We mentioned
Yeah.
it last episode on like what made us nerdy. But so I've been playing Call of Duty 4 nonstop, and it's pretty cool because I remember we were talking about Modern Warfare 2 and Halo 3. We said that we thought that was kind of like, the golden age of multiplayer games. And I really thought it was just because of how old we were when those games came out. But playing through Call of Duty 4 right now, I just kind of realized how it's just those games were that good. Like
They were good.
Yeah, it doesn't really have like I thought it was all just because we were right in high school. Like that's like the prime time to play games with your friends. But playing Call of Duty 4 just kind of makes you realize how a lot of multiplayer shooters now are just kind of like shells of what those games were.
It's kind of rinse and repeat, I feel like, at this point. It's hard to find something kind of new and different.
Yeah, and so, and it is tough. Like, there's only so much you can do with that genre.
Right.
But it's been so much fun. I've had a blast playing it again.
Yeah, I downloaded it, so I have it, but I have not gotten to go and actually play through it yet. But I am excited. And the reason I haven't played it yet was because Apex actually dropped their official Season 1, and they have the Battle Pass and all of that. So I have been playing that quite a bit. I'm still not that great at it, but it's okay. It's been fun to play.
Yeah, it is a fun game. I think I briefly talked about it last time, but it is. I know it's a fun game, and I enjoy when I play it, but I think I'm just kind of almost burnt out of that
The Battle
Royale. Yeah, because it was so new when it first came out. Like, that genre, like PUBG, then Fortnite came along, Call of Duty had their own Battle Royale, and now Apex. And when PUBG first came out, you and I, we played it a ton.
Yeah.
Which was impressive because neither of our laptops ran it very well.
Oh, no. Mine still does, and I still try to play it.
Yeah, and then so it was nice when Fortnite came along because that was not, demanding at all. And I don't want to know how much time I put into Fortnite.
Yeah, we did play a lot of Fortnite.
Yeah, so I think I'm just kind of burnt out on that genre.
Can confirm.
Yeah, you probably
Played
can
a lot
confirm.
of Fortnite.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is fun, and they already launched a new character, Octane. He's pretty cool.
I hear he's really cool. D'Angelo talks about him a lot.
Yeah,
D'Angelo's really
he said
enjoyed
he
him.
plays him a lot.
Yeah.
I don't have him yet. Eventually I'll get there.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, you'll have some choices. There's him, and then what's the other? Mirage.
Mirage.
Yeah,
I do have Mirage.
You do have
He's
Mirage?
pretty fun.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that was the character that everyone really liked. I'm trying to think if I've recently gotten into Red Dead Redemption 2. Not the single player. I've had the game since it launched, but we've recently gotten to the multiplayer, which we started not as a joke, but we were trying to figure out what to play. This was before we downloaded Call of Duty, and we just got done playing Overwatch. And I don't know about you, but when I play Overwatch, I can play it for like an hour and a half, and I'm like, oh man, I love this game. I don't know why I don't play it more. And then I just get stomped in a match. I'm like, this is so stupid. Why am I playing this game for an hour and a half?
That is exactly how I feel.
Yeah.
It's good for a few games, and maybe when you want something different, I'm like, oh yeah, like a couple games of this, but I don't think I could ever like play through a full season of it again.
Yeah, I can't. I can't sit down and spam it like I used to. So then we were trying to figure out what to play, and we're like, oh wait, we all have Red Dead Redemption 2. Like, let's play the online mode. And like, we weren't sure what you could really do in it. But I'm not joking. There's been a couple nights the last 3 weeks where I've spent like 4 hours just riding around with our buddy Colin, just hunting. Like, it's so weird, and it should not be fun. But we'll spend like 4 hours in a game, like fishing and like riding around and like looking for alligators and birds. It is the most bizarre thing, but it is strangely fun.
I mean, I feel like it's the same concept as spending hours playing Minecraft and just farming wheat.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, I never got big into the Minecraft thing, but I know.
I think with things like that, like hunting games and stuff like that, those stay relevant because of the speed of it. Mm-hmm. Like, obviously, real hunters go out and they spend days to,
that's very true.
Do one thing.
Same
but when you play a video game, it's like 20 minutes and it's all done.
Yeah. And that's just like hunting's a very small part of Red Dead Redemption Online. It's just been strangely the thing that we like the most because you get the most money from it. You need money to get new guns and stuff. But one of the funny parts about RDR2 online is you can play from first person perspective, which you can't do in the regular game.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, and so like last night, me and my buddy Colin were playing, and we did like a standoff. Like, we were holding up a whole town, but we were on top of the roof, and we said the rule was you could only play first person. And so we'd be running, jumping from roof to roof, and it's so, I don't want to say nauseating, but even though it's not VR, like, I was crying laughing because at one point I went to jump from roof to roof, and my guy didn't make it, so all I saw from the first-person perspective was my head smack the ledge, and then you fall down like 3 stories, and that's pretty funny. But yeah, so I've been playing that too.
Cool. Anything else that we've been doing, playing, watching, reading?
I downloaded Phase 10 to my phone while we were on our honeymoon, and that's a fun game to play.
Phase 10 is fun.
I have actually not watched a lot of TV or TV shows recently because I've, on our honeymoon, got way more into reading like I used to be. And I read a book that we got from Merrick.
Yes.
And it's a great book. It's, I think it was like from 2005 or something, but it's called The Old Man's War by John Scalzi, who apparently is like an award-winning science fiction writer who I've never heard of. So, book is fantastic. I'm excited for Lake to get on our level and read it.
You do need to read it.
We'll have a lot to talk about. But it is great. So if you're looking for a good science fiction kind of war novel, definitely recommend that. It's part of a series. Merrick's read the sequel already. And
The sequel is called Ghost Brigade.
Ghost Brigade, and then it's The Last Colony, and then there's one after that, I think.
I think there's 5 in total.
Oh, for some reason I thought there was only 4.
Yeah.
Okay. But I'm excited to kind of get that series together, and then as I was reading it, I was just thinking about what a good, like, series or movie it would make, and I think you said that Netflix picked it up?
Yeah, so I read that they were a certain company was trying to develop a movie for a long time, and then Netflix picked up the rights because it was just kind of in limbo.
Because I researched this today, trying to figure out, like, how long do we have to wait? And I was like, it seems like it may have stalled a little bit, but I don't know, maybe this podcast will make it popular enough.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone go read it. Yeah, I love it. I agree. It's very easy to visualize everything while you're reading.
Yeah,
I
think he's just a good writer. Like, he makes something, because it's very, he describes things in such a way where it's like such a different society, but it, I guess, seems reasonable in the way that he's able to describe it. So it's very cool. It's
so unique, but so easy to, like, picture.
Yes. Well, and I think that's why, because I think we both said as we were reading it, we pictured it as a movie, and I think that's why we're like, this would be such a good movie. Yeah,
exactly. He does a really good job of. Another thing that's really cool too is, I don't know if you noticed, there's a lot of really, like, in-depth or cool concepts into it. Yeah. Like, they talk about physics a lot in it.
It's very scientific.
Yep, but they do a very good, easy job of. Yeah. Like, it's easy to kind of comprehend what they're talking about.
Well, they get into physics, but they also get very into theology and religion and all these different kind of high-level thoughts that, mixed in with it being a war story.
Yeah.
So I could, and as I was reading it, I didn't know it was multiple in the series. About halfway through, I was like, this is definitely going to be in a series. I can tell based on what they're setting up here, because there's no way with the pages left that they're going to get into all of these really in-depth topics.
Yeah, it's very thought-provoking. That's why I love it.
Yeah.
I had picked it up off of a recommendation from my buddy Sam, and I was really surprised by how much I loved it. I used to love reading, so it's funny that you mentioned that too.
That's one of the things after I passed my CPA, I was like, I need to get more into reading, because that was my thing all growing up. So it's been my goal. I'm going to try to read a book a week now.
Yeah, that's a great goal. Awesome. Yeah, and so it's funny because that's the book that kicked me back. Right after I finished the first book, I was telling Lake and Kaitie that I'd been checking Books A Million like a couple times to see if the second one was there.
It's not. They have all the other ones, and then he's written other books too, and they have all those. They do not have his second book.
No, they don't. Reason. So I went and signed up for a library card super quickly, and thankfully the second book was tucked away in the corner, and I powered through that too. Yeah, I was too. I didn't think they were going to, and so I was super happy to find the second book, and I breezed through the second book almost as quickly as I breezed through the first.
And it's easy to read too.
Yeah,
like it's not a hard book to read.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I like so much about it. I feel like I haven't read a ton of science fiction books, but I love the genre, and I feel like some science fiction books kind of try a little too hard with the science part.
Well, this is a little dystopian as well.
Yeah.
It's in the future, I think, and Earth has colonized other planets, and there are aliens, and that's not an unusual topic. Like, it's definitely a little futuristic. So
yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I can't remember the time frame exactly. I'm pretty sure it's set like 100 years from
like
right now. Like it's the 2100s or something. But yeah, it's great. Can't recommend it enough.
And then currently, I'm reading. It's a young adult novel that's based on Black Widow, and now I'm having trouble.
Black Widow Forever Red.
Forever Red. I was like, it's like Scarlet Forever, but I don't think they use Scarlet. Forever Red. It's okay. It's definitely a little too youth. Written for teenagers for me, but I am intrigued enough to want to finish it. But after that, definitely we'll probably look at the sequel or I might try to pick up another Agatha Christie because I do like her as well.
Yeah. And when you say Black Widow, do you mean
Yes,
Black
Marvel.
Widow from Marvel?
It's a Marvel, novel.
Oh,
and,
okay.
It has Agent Coulson. And
Yeah. Oh, I love Agent Coulson.
It's an interesting storyline. Part of what's hard with this too is like with all of the the MCU story is like in my head I keep trying to fit this into the MCU, but it's not. It's not made to fit into the MCU,
Yeah.
so that's a little hard for me to. That's that whole comic, idea of you have all these different universes and storylines that aren't supposed to go together. That's hard for me sometimes.
Yeah, it gets so hard trying to piece together stuff when you try and fit it in.
So that's what I've been reading. You've been reading the Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, so the reason I haven't read Old Man's War, I had brought that and the Silmarillion to read, and I started the Silmarillion first.
Yeah.
And I'm a little less than halfway through it. It's a little hard to read, I'm not gonna lie.
I was just about to say, it is not the easiest read. It definitely, takes some time
I'm,
to get
literally
through it.
proud of him that he's reading
it.
Because I've tried to read it, and I don't think I've gotten through it before. I've tried it a couple times.
Yeah, I've never finished it either. I've read it a couple times. Colin has read through the whole thing.
I cheated, and I went on the internet to learn about all of the characters.
Yeah.
And actually, one of my, when I was reading through the trilogy at one point, the books I had, they had excerpts from I can't say it,
Silmarillion.
They had excerpts from it in each of the books that talked about some of the characters, so it was kind of like a cheater version.
That's pretty cool.
And it was just I just checked these out from the library, so I don't know what the publisher was or how they were titled, but it actually was very helpful in learning about the universe.
Yeah, it is really interesting. It is a little harder to read because, especially in the beginning, it's almost more like reading a history textbook. And there's a ton of names. There's so many names, and then that person has 4 sons.
It's like the Bible.
And then it moves
on.
It's
a great comparison.
No, it really, honestly, it kind of is. It's the origin story of Middle Earth.
Yep.
So it deals with their gods. They're essentially demigods. It's not what they call them. But it goes on from there, and it is really interesting. I am enjoying it, and it's picking up finally, where I'm at. I'm finally where the Age of Men starts. Okay. So there's a lot more interactions within Middle Earth.
Yeah.
But the first, maybe third of the book is all just elves and the gods. But yeah, I do enjoy it. It is good. And it's definitely really cool if you're really into Lord of the Rings and you want some more, basically, meat and potatoes to add on to the stories and learn more about.
It's like the director's cut of all the books, almost.
All the extra information.
Do you think after you read it, you'll want to go back and read, the trilogy again? Do you feel like you'll get more out of the trilogy after you read this or something?
No, I don't think it would make me want to go back and read the trilogy, just because it is almost so, different from it. It's not a congruent story like Lord of the Rings is.
I didn't know if it would, I know sometimes, the Marvel movies are a good example. Once I started, getting into the comics, or once I saw some of the later movies, I really wanted to go back and watch, the originals to try to meld the new info I had together. I didn't know if that would kind of go with this type of learning as well.
If anything, it makes me want to read the Forgotten Stories, the Lost Tale series.
Yeah.
I would be more interested in learning more about those.
Because it delves deeper into some of the characters that are touched on in the Silmarillion, right?
Yeah, some of them do. And some of them are just stories about older characters that you'll never hear of in Lord of the Rings.
So it's just more information, just filling stuff that.
But the Forgotten Stories one is more narrative. It's not of a history book. Mm-hmm. It's more short stories about these different characters. And there's the Tom Bombadil book.
Yeah, the Tom Bombadil. Which
I think it's Tales of Tom Bombadil.
Yeah, it's Colin's favorite character. It's so funny.
It's one of mine too.
Yeah, yeah, he is. It's just say you've only watched the movies or read the books, that's such an obscure reference for anyone. You're like, who the heck is Tom Bombadil? Yeah. But yeah, he's a funny character. He's a good one.
Yeah, that's the Silmarillion. Yeah. Anything else?
Trying to think.
I've been knee deep in YouTube videos about Endgame conspiracy theories, which we'll talk about later.
We'll get to that.
I've been watching those a lot. But also the Stranger Things 3 trailer came out, which I'm excited about. So
I need to watch season 2 because I loved season 1.
You should.
Yeah.
See, I feel like you'll like season 2, especially since Bob Samwise, can't remember the actor.
It'll come to me in like
you know what's
10
funny?
minutes.
It's Sam Astin or Sean Astin. Sean Astin, yeah.
Since he's in it, he plays a very major role in it. I felt like season 2 started off a little slow and then got really, really good. So stick with it if you find that trouble. But I feel like season 3 is shaping up to be really good from the trailer. So like you gotta catch up.
Yeah, I'll catch up for sure. That'll be on my list of things to watch.
But yeah, anything else?
Trying to think. Not watching, reading. Oh, kind of. We don't really talk about card games, or every now and then you'll bring up a board game. I don't know how new the card game is, but we recently picked up Keyforge.
Right, which is funny because it was at my recommendation that we start playing it, and I was the last one to get it.
Yeah. So just a quick description of Keyforge for you listeners. So the unique thing about Keyforge is that there aren't any booster packs. You can only buy decks. Each deck is completely randomized, so you don't know what you're going to get into it. And the way it works is, I think there's 6 total races, and each deck is a combination of 3, and it can be any combination. And so the way it works is you buy your deck, and those are your cards. They come with deck lists, and you can't mix decks together. You can't buy booster packs to mix into your deck. So each deck is unique. There's no duplicates of any decks. Like, your deck is only your deck. No one else has it. And each deck list comes with a little QR code, and you're supposed to scan it on the app or to the website, and it registers that deck to your specific account.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's really neat. It's super fun. I'm excited because I'm learning it as the same time as everyone else is, instead of being like 5 years behind, like when my buddies tried to teach me how to actually play the Pokemon card game, which I never knew when I was little. I just collected the cards. I feel like a lot of people didn't know how to play it. But Keyforge has been really fun. There's a ton of strategy that goes into it. Because the way it works is, without getting too into detail, is each deck has 3 races, but you can only play 1 race a turn. And so when you play that race, you can only use those cards from your hand, and you can only use the cards on the field that are pertaining to that race. So it's really fun. There's a lot of strategy into it, and I'm really excited to get more into it. And I think the second, the next line of cards is going to be coming out in the next couple months. That's pretty exciting too.
Yeah, I did see that was announced already. I'm really excited about this. Obviously, with my wedding and everything, like I said, I had encouraged everyone to check this game out, and now it's a huge card game. It's, I believe, the number 4 top or most played card game right now,
yeah,
which is
blowing
huge,
up.
and it's the only one of those tops that aren't booster pack based.
Yep,
which is awesome. These decks are really cheap. It's $10 for a deck, and then that's all you need. You could show up to a tournament with nothing but that deck, essentially.
Yeah, which is really cool because I know a lot of people usually, you have to spend a lot of money on like booster packs and stuff to get the kind of deck that you want. And the fun thing that what's so appealing to me is that since each deck is different, you're going to be seeing something different every time you play. That's always my big gripe in card games like Hearthstone, Pokemon, all kinds of things. There's
a meta,
yeah,
and it's those 3 different counter decks that make the top seats every time.
Exactly, it's either you're playing a mirror matchup, or it's the counter to your deck, or the deck that you counter, and then every now and then there's someone that plays something completely random, but they usually get washed out because it doesn't fit in the meta.
Yep.
So yeah, I'm excited to keep playing it. I'm excited to see it grow.
Excited to learn it. You just brought the starter deck over to me.
Yeah. It's fun. You're going to really, really enjoy it. I would encourage you to watch one of the
tutorials.
Yeah, the tutorial videos, because there is a lot to it. But once you get into it, it's pretty easy to pick up.
Mm-hmm. Well, and if you buy the starter deck, don't the tutorial cards, they're like a little more laid out in the way the terms and stuff are as well?
So what's really cool is it comes with 2. So obviously there's your structure deck that it comes with 1 unique deck and then 2 pre-made decks that's in common with every starter kit. And so on the starter kit cards, you notice that they're starter kit cards because it explains like each term. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't do that on the regular cards. So it'll say like steal 2 amber, and then it explains what stealing is. It explains the mechanic on the card, so it makes it pretty easy to learn the game as you're playing.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Excited to give it a try.
Yep, I'm excited to keep playing it. But that pretty much catches me up on everything: playing, watching, reading.
Yeah, so I think it's about time to get into the bulk of our episode. Granted, we spent a lot of time doing our catch-ups this week.
Yeah, we did. It's been so long.
We had a lot to talk about, yeah.
We did more stuff than I think you guys realized.
Yeah.
We wouldn't have any catch-up. But
yeah, it was the opposite of what we thought. We thought it'd be a short catch-up, and then we ended up talking a lot. But that's okay, because that's the fun stuff.
Yeah, so we're going to have 2 parts to our main topic. The first part being our thoughts and review on Captain Marvel, the newest Marvel movie. And then the second part of this is going to be basically looking forward to our thoughts and theories on Endgame.
Yep, it's coming up.
So before you guys might not have thought about this too in depth, but before we get into the discussion of Captain Marvel, like how would you like rate it or rank it among the other?
Well, what are among the others? Sorry, I thought we were doing like 1 to 10 or okay.
Yeah, so you can either do that's I personally like because I love the MCU movies so much, and a lot more of it's like sentimental like connection to it than like movies on its own.
There's been some I haven't seen.
Yeah, so the way it usually goes for me is a kind of like a tier system, if that makes sense. Like movies slot into tiers.
Okay.
Like obviously, like Infinity War and Winter Soldier, like
top tier.
Those are tier 1. Like those are the best. And then tier 2s, you know, actually probably Ragnarok's in that tier 1 too. I loved Ragnarok.
Ragnarok was good.
Yeah,
it was good, but I feel
such
like
a turn for the Thor movie.
Exactly, it was. I think the reason I liked it so much is because it was completely different, which is refreshing.
Yeah, you know, like I've seen it probably 20 times. And like I could watch it again right now. Yeah. Whereas the other ones, I'm like, eh.
I think it's the most rewatchable one after Guardians of the Galaxy. For me personally, Guardians of the Galaxy is probably not that way for everyone, but.
It is for us. It is for us, but I do know other people who don't rewatch Guardians.
Yeah,
I usually
the second one too. Yeah, I think the first. I like the first more than the second.
Well, it's always hard because like when the second one came out, we watched it a lot because it was the new one. But I feel like now that it's settled, we have gone back to watching the first one a lot more.
Yeah, it's funny. Without going on to get us too off subject since we're supposed to be talking about Captain Marvel.
Subject,
exactly.
Like,
just to briefly talk about the Guardians of the Galaxy one. That could be a whole nother episode. That'd be fun, like ranking the Marvel movies. But yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy 1 I always say is my favorite movie. Because I've probably watched that one like 25, 30 times.
I can see why you like Guardians.
Yeah, I love it. And
my first or second.
Yeah, and usually, so a lot of people know that I won't say hate. I really don't like rewatching things. With the Marvel movies, I usually try and watch everyone twice. But after that, like I'll never, if something's on TV, like my dad, he watched the same movie 20 times. And like, that's fine. Like every time Jaws comes on TV, he watches it. And I can't do that. But Guardians of the Galaxy 1, I've probably seen close to 30 times, which is nuts.
Impressive.
Yeah, which is nuts for me.
You know.
Yeah, exactly. And that's how I was like finally like, okay, for the longest time I said Ferris Bueller's Day Off was my favorite movie. And then I watched Guardians of the Galaxy 30 times. And I'm like, oh.
I have a funny story about Ferris Bueller. I won't share it here.
And see, like I was apologizing for getting off topic, and then I got off topic. But I always say Guardians of the Galaxy 1's my favorite movie, but I do think Guardians of the Galaxy 2 is the better movie.
Okay, so your question was, where does Captain Marvel
Yeah.
So let's get back
I just
to
wanted to
one.
wrap up the off topic that I got off topic from the off topic and had to wrap up the original off topic
to get back on topic.
Yes. So when I went into Captain Marvel thinking it would be kind of okay, yeah, like kind of that.
I feel like we were on the same page. I was
I was pretty neutral about it.
Yeah, I figured it'd be like fitting around like the Thor kind of level.
And it was so funny because leading up to about a month before it, on the same vein, I was so excited because I think the Captain Marvel comics were like the first ones I read because Lake bought them for me. Like, I think you'll like these, and I had never read comics before, and I really liked them, and so I was very excited for Captain Marvel. And then people started being so down on the movie that I was then very nervous.
Yep,
and so
I was too.
So I kind of made myself have lower expectations going into it.
Yep. So I went in thinking it was going to be kind of like that bottom tier with Thor.
Like a step we had
Hulk.
to get through to get to Endgame.
Exactly. And then walking out, I loved it. It blew me away. I think it fits into like the tier 2 with me. So like in that tier with like Guardian, even though I said Guardians of the Galaxy is my favorite movie, but like that level of quality, like Guardians of the Galaxy, like Civil War, Avengers.
I would say tier 2 as well.
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking about it. I need to watch it again, maybe to really determine, but I don't feel like I'll want to rewatch this one over and over again the way we did with Guardians, Black Panther, Infinity War.
Yeah, that's how I feel. I'm not sure if the rewatchability is there, but then again, I'm sure that we will go out and get it and rewatch it.
Yeah.
I need to watch it again to decide if it's going to be a movie that I'll want to, watch every night before I go to bed type thing. Because, like, Guardians is a very common, like, turn it on when, you need something in the background.
Yeah. I think that it is one of the better origin stories for all the characters after, like, obviously I would put, like, Iron Man, Guardians of the Galaxy, and Black Panther above it. But other than that, it's probably my favorite of the origin movies. I really enjoyed, like,
I have this weird thing where I love Ant-Man way more than everyone else does.
No,
So
I love
Ant-Man
Ant-Man too.
up there, and Ant-Man's very rewatchable for me.
Yeah.
But so I think Ant-Man for me personally, and no one else in the world, is above Black Panther. But
Yeah.
that's just me.
Yeah, no, I did. I love Ant-Man too. And that's why, and we're supposed to be talking about Captain Marvel. We're getting so off topic.
Yeah. Well, it's so hard because these movies are so intermingled.
Okay,
exactly.
But we have to be strong, guys. And
yes.
And we'll make this another episode.
So we have it tier 2, so that, like that A-B+ level.
High tier 2.
Yeah, high tier 2.
I would put it solid tier 2 as well. I think I would give it about the A-B+.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's a good place to put
Great
it for
movie.
me. I thought it was pretty good. A little bit slow in the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was worried. I honestly was sitting there in the theater as the movie was going, worried that unless it had like a super great ending, that I was going to be disappointed. But by the end, I was not disappointed.
Yeah. And I think a lot of it, while we're sitting here talking about it, a lot of the reason we enjoyed it so much is the three of us went in with low expectations.
Yes, that's how I enter all things.
Yeah, that's great. I go in with unreasonably high expectations usually. I am forever the optimist.
It can be hard with the Marvel movies.
Yeah, it really can.
They've burned us before.
Yeah.
A lot of
Thor.
Thor.
Yeah, and see, that's probably why I like Ragnarok so much.
Weird. When the first Thor came out on a DVD, I just have such a weird memory of it. Me and my sorority sisters would like get together like once a week. I don't know why. We would get together once a week, get a bottle of wine or multiple bottles of wine, and watch the first Thor movie. I don't know. It was something about he was very attractive.
I was gonna say Chris Hemsworth is a handsome man.
But that was the one. I was like, of all of the movies that were out at that point, Captain America I think was out.
But
we are off topic. I'm so
yeah. See, it's so hard. We're gonna have to. So, full disclosure for all of our listeners: for now on, if we do something Marvel, like even if it's specific, know that we will get off topic. There's gonna be plenty of spoilers too for anyone that hasn't realized that. Since this is an episode about Captain Marvel, you're gonna hear a lot about Captain Marvel.
This is a good point to say spoiler warning. So we haven't gotten into the movie itself, but spoiler
so
warning.
there's a spoiler warning. We're gonna get back on topic, I promise.
Yeah, from now forward.
But
thank you.
For now on, full disclosure, all Marvel related episodes are going to get off topic.
Yeah, and we'll try to do better about putting a spoiler shield earlier.
Yep.
Obviously, we haven't really talked about
anything. We haven't spoiled anything at this point. So we're good.
So all right. So now let's open the movie up. Let's discuss. Let's dissect. Let's get into the nitty gritty.
Okay.
All right. So kind of opening scenes. We have obviously her, and she's had her nightmare, and she goes and she wrestles with who's the
Jude Law, right?
Yeah, Jude Law.
Okay.
I couldn't tell you his.
He has a very complicated name that I don't remember. Jude Law.
So his name is Jude Law, and they didn't say it a lot. They only said it really towards the end, which I kind of liked because I don't know about you guys, but I went in expecting Jude Law to be Captain Marvel. Like who she got the powers in. Yeah. So I think that's kind of why they don't see his name early, and like we know towards the end why not. Like it kind of throws you for a loop. But personally, I thought he was going to be Marvel. So it was cool the way that whole thing was handled.
Jan Rog.
Yeah. Decently likable character as well.
Jude Law's a very
Apparently
charismatic
in the
person.
Comics, though, like they have a whole big thing that's complicated and.
Wow.
So.
The comics are big and complicated.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's true. I liked. Yeah, one cool thing. I'm glad you brought up. Obviously, we're going to talk about the beginning first. But one thing that I thought was really cool. It's a really little detail. But like the whole point behind Captain Marvel is kind of how Carol was not like she was kind of brainwashed, but how she was
her
heavy.
memory was erased.
Yeah, exactly. She was heavy Kree, like she thought they were 100% in the right. And so what's really cool is about the opening nightmare. She's got the Kree blood; it's blue because she thinks she's Kree. Right. And then when they finally revisit it and she remembers everything, her blood's red. So we know it was red the whole time. So
I thought she had a transfusion and.
So she did, but that was after that. They talked about they had their transfusion after. So that's a cool little detail that not a lot of people probably caught.
Oh, yeah. Okay, now I'm remembering that it was red when she
It was red when she had the full memory. So it was a really cool, subtle way. Exactly. Yes. There's a lot of cool things that this movie did that probably not a lot of people caught. But yeah, it's a really cool, subtle way.
No, I remember catching that during it because I was like, oh, yeah, it's red now. So.
Yep. And so I just thought that was really interesting. Something I definitely wanted to bring up. Because it really shows you that transition from heavy Kree, like they do no wrong, you know, like I'm Kree, to oh wait, I'm human, like this is what actually happened.
Right. Well, and it's interesting too because after Guardians, you obviously know that the Kree are the bad guys in that movie. Mm-hmm. So they had to work really hard to change this perception very quickly for you.
Yep. Yeah. Yep. That's very true.
Well, it's not necessarily in Guardians because I kind of had the same thing. Kree are bad. The Kree extremists in Guardians are who's bad. The Kree are there. And they are basically don't care about what's happening. So you have that whole thing with, you know...
They're neutral,
they're slaughtering children, and the guy's like, oh, it's not our problem. It sounds like your problem. And then, you know, she calls him a bad word.
Yeah. Another thing that's pretty interesting to think about with the Kree, a lot of people actually think all Kree are blue, because, you know, we see Ronan early in Guardians of the Galaxy. But then we see in Captain Marvel they're not. Which kind of implies that it's... Like, the Kree are obviously a race, but it's a little bit more than that. It's kind of almost like a society, not like a religion, people. But yeah, exactly. So we see that it's a bunch of other races fit into the Kree.
And they have a strong, basically, religion that ties them together.
Yep. They're not all technically blue in the first one, because who is the guy that he's in Guardians and he's in this?
Who? Yeah.
Yeah, he's obviously not blue.
Gosh, I cannot remember.
He's not blue too, and neither is Jude Law, so that really kind of goes to show you that it is kind of like a societal, like religious, like religion thing. So yeah,
more of like a nation.
Yeah, exactly. A nation's a good way to put it. So it kind of goes show you that maybe the Kree conquer planets and they kind of, I'm trying to think, not like absorb the culture, but like they're like, all right, you are Kree now. You are part of this. This
well,
society.
that does come up later in the movie because that's how the Kree Skrull war starts. Is the Skrull won't submit to the Kree and give up their planet, so they destroy their planet.
Korath is the Kree soldier who's also in
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Thank you.
Yeah. So yeah, that was cool. I'm trying to think of it right now. We should just any details that comes to mind, like feel free to throw out. One really cool thing. So. You guys probably haven't watched Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., have you?
The first few seasons.
Yes. So, yeah, it really picks up around season 2. It gets really good. But you find out that, because, everyone sees Coulson die in the first Avengers. Loki kills him.
I think I know where you're going with this.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yes,
so Loki kills him. Then he's still alive. We know that from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which they don't bring up a lot in the movie. They have a couple times. Like Age of Ultron, they know where Wanda and Quicksilver are because Coulson finds out and he tells... S.H.I.E.L.D. Yeah.
Right.
Yep. And so the big thing is the way that Coulson comes back to life is Kree blood.
Yeah.
They infuse him with Kree blood.
Okay.
Yep.
That's not where I thought you were going with it. It's a detail from the movie as well. So when after Nick Fury and Carol, meet up and they're in the S.H.I.E.L.D. It's when they go and they find the headquarters, they find the files. It's when they're kind of discovering, and they get into that fight, with the Skrulls and some members of S.H.I.E.L.D. as well.
Yeah. Because he calls in the S.H.I.E.L.D.
Coulson lets them escape at one point, and that probably saves one or both of their lives. Later on, it kind of explains why Nick and Coulson are so close.
Yeah.
And why Nick, I think it's implied that he helped save Coulson.
Yeah, it was like an experiment that he ran. So it's really cool how much he tied.
That's probably why he's so close to him. Is because he had this kind of debt that he owed him.
Yeah,
it's basically breaking protocol.
Yeah.
Here's a thought: is one of the Kree soldiers that comes to fight Carol. One of those end up being the Kree that they use in
in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.? That would be really
pure
neat.
Speculation.
Yeah. Oh no, because they were fighting the Skrulls. They use Kree. They infuse
but the Kree do come to the planet eventually because they're all fighting on the ship.
Oh yeah, that would be a pretty cool way to do it or explain. It'll be interesting to see. I haven't watched Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. in a long time. Yeah. I haven't watched Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. in a long time, but they do a pretty good job of tying some things from the movie into the show. But yeah, that was a fun little detail. And then before we leave Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., another thing is the chip that Carol has on her neck. That kind of controls her powers. Yeah. That's in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. too, but that was in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. years ago, like season 4. There's a whole arc with the Inhumans,
Right, yeah.
and they use that specific chip that you see on Carol. They use in the show to control their powers
so you
too.
can tell it's supposed to be the
It's
same
supposed to be
thing.
Kree technology.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, they pulled that in well
Yeah.
then.
Yeah,
and
it's
probably
really cool.
a lot of MCU fans may not get that because I'm sure there's a big chunk of us who haven't gotten
Exactly.
into Shield.
Yeah, not a lot of people have watched Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I would encourage people to watch it if you love the MCU. There's a lot of little fun nods and stuff.
As a show, it has its ups and downs.
Yeah.
There's good seasons and there's okay seasons.
Yeah, exactly. And it's kind of hard to get into at first. And season 2 and 3 are pretty good. Then 4 drags, and it dips a lot.
But
probably,
back to Captain Marvel.
Yep.
Yeah, these were all Captain Marvel.
Yeah,
related things. Yeah, there's just fun little. I'm trying to think of details, really flesh
lots
it out.
of details.
Yeah.
I loved the kind of backstory with Nick Fury. Like I loved getting to see his start, and you can tell. And I thought Samuel L. Jackson did a great job making himself feel a little more
young and fresh,
energetic,
fresh,
completely different than we see him in the earlier movies.
I don't know if I would say naive because I think he as a person wasn't naive, but a little more,
new to surprised.
Yeah,
green. I guess he hasn't been hardened by a life of working for S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah.
Well, this is the first time that he's seen aliens.
Yeah, exactly. It is the first
he doesn't
time.
believe her, and then obviously 5 minutes later that changes.
Yeah.
So that was really good to see, and kind of with Coulson, he's not in it,
No, he's hardly in it.
Has that cameo almost, but it was good, and I thought they played well together, like the two of them. They were doing all their press tours together, talking about how I guess close they had gotten working together, and I didn't really, I guess, realize that they would almost the whole movie they're actually together, and I think they have good chemistry and.
Yeah, it was a good combination, I think.
Yeah, Samuel L. Jackson did a great job playing off of so many characters. Like, he was great throughout the movie. It was really neat to see him as one of the main characters.
He's Samuel L. Jackson.
Exactly.
He's a wonderful actor.
He's phenomenal in everything. Yeah, exactly.
But it is kind of, he kind of gets typecast a little bit, I think. So I think he did a really good job breaking out of that.
Exactly. He was a lot more, like, not lighthearted,
older
but, like,
Fury,
exactly. And I thought that was pretty fun and neat. I thought the de-aging tech was amazing.
Yeah, it could have looked so. It could have looked so corny and bad, and it was so good.
You honestly couldn't tell. The only time I remember that they had used it is like when he ran in the like when they're searching for the files, and when he runs, he kind of has that like old man run. Whereas he's supposed to be like 40, but
but I'm sure if I went back and looked
it was just a little funny. It wasn't a major detail at all, but it just goes to show how like easy it was to get immersed into, like how believable the de-aging tech was. It was really neat.
Yeah. What else?
Let me see. Yeah, I'm kind of cheating. I've got a leg up on Lake and Kaitie. Jeffrey came and saw this movie with me and my grandmother, and he had already seen it. He saw it like opening weekend, and he recently became a big fan of our podcast. He was a little late to the show, but now he listens to every episode. And so he said during our viewing of the movie, he was only going to take notes during the whole movie. So he would constantly bring up his phone and like write something down real quick, then put it down. Yeah. So I'm working off of a lot of notes.
I would have liked to. It would have been better if I could have like tried to go over and see it again this week or something.
Yeah, exactly. And so
I do actually have something. Obviously, I think we all agree the beginning was a little slower.
Mm-hmm.
But I read this somewhere. Someone somewhere made this point, whether it was Reddit or somewhere else. That this had a very similar feel, though, to a lot of the older origin stories, going back to the first Captain America, the first Iron Man, a lot slower.
It does remind me a lot of the first Iron Man. Like, as soon as you said that, I'm thinking through, because I've seen Iron Man, the first one, a million times, so I have it memorized. But it does remind me a lot of that.
I'm happy you brought that up, because one of the first things I said to Jeff when we were leaving the theater was that this got me... obviously excited for Endgame, but it got me more excited for the next phase of movies because they had recently said that they wanted to get back into more that singular, like more intimate stories, and this did a good job of kind of showing they can still do that origin style movie.
Honestly, and that's a good thing to think about. Like, let's say they didn't have the whole Endgame story coming up down the line. I feel like they could have made this movie and led into another two, a Captain Marvel trilogy, and I think it would have done a good job of setting that up.
Exactly. I think that's what it's going to do, too, is they kind of set up... You can kind of tell who's going to be, like, the main characters going into the next wave of movies. We've kind of finished this Infinity War saga, or at least we will with Endgame.
The Phase 4.
Yeah, exactly. And so it'll be really neat going in the future, like the next, like Phase 5, 6, 7. They're obviously going to build towards something, kind of how Phase 1, 2, 3, 4 built towards Infinity War.
Mm-hmm.
And you can tell that throughout that, Captain Marvel is going to be one of the big players. Doctor Strange is going to be one of the big players.
Yep.
Peter Parker.
Yep.
He finally got his second movie announcement.
Doctor Strange did?
Yes.
Okay,
That's awesome.
I missed
Yeah, I
it.
missed
Yes,
that too.
that's
I was actually
confirmed.
thinking about that the other day because I watched all the end. Sorry, I'm getting off topic. I watched all the end scenes, and they played the Doctor Strange end scene, and I was like, "There's a storyline that we haven't heard about with like the wizard stealing everyone else's powers."
Yeah.
I was like, "We have not touched back on this happening." So,
Exactly. So
about time.
yeah, exactly. So Doctor Strange, Captain Marvel, Black Panther, and Peter are going to, be the big players in the next wave of movies.
Yep.
I'm all for
I
it.
wonder if it's going to go more towards the Illuminati then.
I thought about that too, especially with, acquiring the rights to Fox with Fantastic Four and X-Men and all that. There's a lot of storylines that they can incorporate. And so, yeah, the Illuminati would be really neat.
They have most of the main players there. The
Yep.
other one you're really missing is Tony Stark.
Yep, exactly. So it'll be interesting to see if he sticks around. It'll kind of go to show. And, the MCU's did a really good job of kind of skirting around, like, specifics from the comics. Like, they've done a good job.
They've created their own.
It's their own universe.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like someone wrote a new set of comics, that's next to this one, that's next to this one. So
Yeah.
it works.
Yeah, and so I'm excited to see how that goes. Yep.
Anyway,
Back to Captain Marvel. See, that's why the full
good.
disclosure.
This is giving us discussion.
Exactly.
All based on the movie. I felt like overall the movie was a little predictable, except for, spoiler, the scroll twist.
I feel like we can't say it was predictable and then say, but we didn't predict the biggest twist of the movie.
Yeah, well, that's why she said.
Twist of the movie.
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying
but
too.
Yes, it goes together. But I was sitting in the movie and I was like, okay, this is what I thought was going to happen. This is what I thought was going to happen. It was going, and then there was that one twist, and I was like, yes, there's something that I didn't know. I was very happy. But then, at the end, I knew the cat was a Flurkin. So, I knew things were happening.
Yeah, so I see what you both are saying.
I think grateful for it.
Yeah, I think that's what makes the second half of the movie so much better than the first is I agree that, first half was pretty, cut and dry.
Yeah.
Pretty much predictable. Then the second half does a great job of flipping it.
Yeah.
I guess it was supposed to be that way. I mean, the trailers all lead you to realize that her memory is gone, and the movie is about her remembering her past.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that is part of the movie. And we know she's human.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's what makes the twist so great.
Yeah. I love that twist, though. I'm so excited that was in there.
And I don't think they would have been able to pull it off so well if the main scroll, Talos, wasn't so likable.
I loved him.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And that's why that twist at the end I was very excited about, because you liked him before you knew that twist.
Exactly. Yeah.
You liked his lines, and
he was very funny, and he was a pretty good character.
Before you realized he had a wife and a kid, and you were rooting for him.
Exactly. And then that part was so it wasn't like an emotional movie, but that part itself was just like wow, that's really sweet.
It's so funny. It's that thing where you're kind of rooting against them. The Skrulls are who she was fighting on the bus in the trailer, and they're the bad guys, and all of a sudden they're not the bad guys anymore, and you're rooting for them.
Yeah,
so
and they put all this work
really
in to humanize this character very quickly.
Yeah, exactly.
They did a really good job with not somehow in their trailers and all the sneak peeks and stuff they give you with not even hinting that that's the case with the Skrulls, because usually they'll try to drop something.
Yeah, and
I don't think they did anything like that.
Yeah, that's what makes me enjoy the MCU so much. Before getting off topic again, but yeah, they're phenomenal with their trailers. They usually don't give away too much.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, going into the movie, I expected to I have a huge crush on Brie Larson, so I expected to really like Captain Marvel. I figured she would be my favorite character. If not Fury. So I was really surprised when my favorite character in the movie, Talos, was my MVP of the movie. I loved him. He was so funny.
Mm-hmm.
He has so many hilarious lines. Like when he's bashing the science guy for not figuring out that, the satellite's in space. Or I love the exchange where Rambo's asking all these things he could turn into. And she goes, could you turn into a filing cabinet? And the look on his face is like, why would I turn it into a filing cabinet? And the way he delivers it, it's just so funny.
Yeah,
he was a good character.
Yeah,
they did a good job of. that you're supposed to like him. So, and I don't want to say the word they humanized him because
he's an alien.
and in this society, you
Yeah,
don't have just human. But anyway, they did such a good job with making him so likable, and I hope we see him again in another movie.
I need a short with just Korg and Talos. Korg from Thor Ragnarok. Yeah. Hey man, it'd be so fun. This is Meek.
Meek.
Yeah, this is my friend Meek.
We're gonna go over to that jukebox.
Yep. Yeah, and so speaking of jukebox, one of my favorite bands in the world is No Doubt.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just a girl plays, and so that's probably why I like
it had a great
so
soundtrack.
much. Yeah,
I need to download
I
it.
loved all the '90s music.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of good 90s references, obviously.
I totally
breaking
missed
into the Blockbuster.
Yeah, the Blockbuster was very like...
The Radio Shack. I totally missed, until I was listening to someone else's breakdown of the movie, that what she steals from the Radio Shack to make her communication device is a Game Boy.
Yes, I did catch that.
Either. It was a Game Boy.
When they start up the phone, you can hear the Game Boy noise.
Yeah.
It's really like the ding, like, it's so, exactly. See, like, everyone knows what it sounds like. But so that was really cool. I'm glad you brought that up.
I did not. That completely flew over my head.
Good, I'm glad I got to deliver you a piece of useful knowledge.
Yeah. Let's see, I'm trying to think. Oh, one thing that I'm pretty excited for is the Rambo's daughter, Monica.
Yep.
She talks about how, I think it'll be pretty cool. I think it's going to tie into Endgame. What is
her character's name? She becomes...
Yes, so she does become a hero. I can't remember the hero's name right now.
It's the name of her mom's plane.
Yep.
Is the name she takes, and I cannot remember what it is.
So while she's looking up, the thing that I really like is she says,
Photon?
I'll build... Yes, it's Photon, I'm pretty sure. She's like, I'll build a ship so we can come see you. And there's enough time that's passed between Captain Marvel and Endgame to where I wonder if she's going to be... Like, if she's the one that builds the ship... Like, how cool would that be? That'd be a great way to bridge Captain Marvel and
I feel like
Endgame.
they've definitely set her up to where she's going to be a character. Like, she's going to be in the movies.
Yeah, exactly. And it'll be really cool because this will be the first time where we kind of see a character as a kid and then they bring her back later.
Code names include Photon, Pulsar, and Spectrum.
Yeah, it's Photon, I'm pretty sure, is the one that she's commonly referred to. So I'm excited to see how she ties into Endgame. That'd just be a fun, like, really cool, because it's one line, like, maybe I'll build a ship to take us to space to see you.
It would be cool if they drop her into Endgame somehow. Yeah. I don't know if they will. I feel like people would have discovered that by looking at cast list and stuff by now.
Well, that's the good thing is
if she's grown up, it could be
they wouldn't it'd be a completely different actress. Yeah.
But they wouldn't. I guess they wouldn't put her.
She would be top billing.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Right. So it's cool. It's crossing fingers. Yeah. It'd be a cool little.
If not another movie, I feel like she could pop up into Third Guardians easily. They could mix her into that because those storylines go well together. We got some options.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. So I thought both Rambo and her daughter were pretty cool. It was a good way of kind of having Carol remember her memories.
Yeah. What did you think about in credit scenes?
Remind me, what were the end credits?
It was the cat returning the Tesseract.
Cat was the last one,
right?
Flirkin.
And it was the
she shows up.
Basically, I think it's a scene from Endgame.
I think it's a scene from kind of like how they had the scene from
so they have the pager going on, and they were like, we think it's dead because it turns off. They're like, what do we do? And they're like, well, why does it matter? And they're like, well, Fury thought it mattered. And they turn around, and there's Carol Danvers.
Yeah, I heard like audible gasps. Like some people were scared. Like they thought it was like a jump scare in my theater. They're like, when she showed up,
we just cheered. We were like,
yeah. So it was really cool. I do think it's a scene from.
Yeah.
I think that's for sure. And
before they're gonna have to introduce her, and that's when they meet her. So how else are they gonna introduce her?
Exactly.
Maybe there's a bit because they did this in other ones where they cut out like parts of
the trailer.
They do this in. This was the end credit scene from. Was it? Oh my gosh! Was it?
I think it was Ant-Man.
Ant-Man, yes. Yeah. Ant-Man, and they're like, oh well, what do we do? And it's when you see Winter Soldier's arm in the vice.
Yep.
And they're like, what do we do? And that was actually in the movie,
which would make sense because that was the Russo brothers who did Civil War.
Right.
They're also doing Endgame, so it would make sense that they would take a scene from the movie to use as a post-credit scene. And then the second one with the cat flaring up.
Well, that was cool too with the whole Tesseract thing because we didn't know how he got it back at that point. So now we know how he got the Tesseract back.
Yep.
So,
right?
There is still a little bit of confusion is in there, isn't there?
Yeah, so the timeline itself is kind of confusing. So the way I saw it was, so originally we know first Captain America, Red Skull has it.
Yep.
Cap gets it back, crashes the plane.
Yep.
Howard Stark saves.
He finds the Tesseract.
He finds Tesseract, and then what I've seen people bridging it is he then turns it over to who is Captain Marvel. I can't remember her name right now.
Right.
Specifically,
okay.
that hasn't said, but it can be inferred.
Wendy Lawson.
Yes, Wendy Lawson. It can be inferred that he then gives it to her, so she can do the light speed technology, and then Cap gets it back to S.H.I.E.L.D.
And then...
Yep. So it is a little confusing. You have to do a lot of like reading into it.
So there's one assumption that we pretty much have to make in that timeline is that Tony Stark gave it to Wendy Lawson, which makes sense.
Howard Stark.
Sorry,
or Howard Stark passes away and she
finds it.
Yeah,
takes it.
Becomes in power because she's working with governments.
Yep, exactly.
Well, and she's Kree, so her whole thing was she probably inserted herself
she
to get
knew
it.
It was there probably.
Yep. While we're talking about the Tesseract, it's pretty cool to think about, because a lot of people are talking about, is Captain Marvel stronger than Thor?
She is.
She is, and exactly, exactly, yeah. And so what makes it cool is, I think a lot of people, it's kind of widely accepted that Scarlet Witch is one of the strongest Marvel characters because she specifically gets her powers from an Infinity Stone.
Well, think about it, you have Scarlet Witch, Infinity Stone, you have Vision, who's a
Mind Stone.
Yep.
Mind Stone, you have Captain Marvel.
Exactly, from the...
you're getting all these people who have powers.
Exactly, and so those three characters, up with Thor, are considered the strongest of the bunch. So it really makes sense how they tied her into being so strong, is when you find out that her powers came from the blast. It wasn't from the Kree, it was specifically from the Tesseract. Yeah. And so I thought that was a pretty cool way to tie into, explain why she is so strong.
Bring Gamora back. She's so smart. I'm just trying to think. We
how we can get Gamora back.
Make their own gauntlet of people.
We'll find out.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think that is a great bridge.
Yeah, we've
talked about Captain Marvel.
We got through
right
the
into
movie.
our Endgame Theories.
It was a journey to get through the movie, but we got through it.
Yeah, we got off topic a couple times.
We stuff in the middle, but
Yeah, we did. I'm sure there's plenty more points I could make.
But we want to talk about Endgame.
Yes, very excited about Endgame. Obviously, it is right around the corner. As of the time of this
about a month,
recording, it's a little less than a month. Yep.
And they just released a bunch. Actually, and that's how we know they just dropped so many posters and
posters, trailers.
They're starting the press junket. I think they're all literally flying to some country in
all
Europe
over the world. Yep.
Right now, it's great.
Yeah, exactly. So we're getting a lot of information. We're getting really excited for it. But now, we don't know a whole lot. We know from the trailers, but we know that all the footage they've used for the trailers is from the first half of, or the first 15 minutes of the movie.
Yeah.
And the Russo brothers also said about half of the content from the trailers isn't even in the final movie. Yep. So there's a lot of kind of, chasing us around.
And they said, I think it was the first third of the movie or the first act of the movie is one of the darkest
in
acts
the MCU.
In the MCU. Yeah. So,
the total time just got released too. I think it's 3 hours and 2 minutes.
That's amazing.
It needs to be 4 hours. I'd be so okay with it being so long.
Yeah.
I kind of hope we get a theatrical or a editor's cut.
Oh
yeah.
Gosh.
Oh, that'd be great. I would love to watch
that'd be so good.
Any of the Russo brothers, director's cut. Same with Guardians of the Galaxy. James Gunn director's cut would probably be amazing too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm so excited for this movie. There's so much to it. I'm having such a hard time, piecing together, how I think they're gonna win. You know what I mean?
I really honestly have not. I've listened to some videos about it, but on my own, I really have not been concentrating on that. They have the story, they're gonna tell it. I'm just trying to stay excited. Well, it's not hard.
Yeah.
I'm just excited to see this story. And then I'm excited to about the smaller details, like how Captain Marvel's gonna fit in.
Yep.
Who's gonna stay alive? Who's gonna come back? Who's alive currently? Who's not gonna be alive by the end of the movie? None of the things I'm excited for really revolve around defeating Thanos, because I feel we know
that's gonna happen.
We know that's what's gonna happen. It's the collateral damage. What are we gonna deal with?
So since you just brought it up, with Endgame coming up, who do you think's staying? Who do you think's going? Who stays on for the next wave of movies? And...
I feel it's almost easy. It's almost kind of easy to guess just based on the actors and what you know. Well, we know Spider-Man is making
Spider-Man's
it.
coming back.
Gotta make
Doctor
it.
Strange comes back.
Or
Black Widow comes back.
Yep.
Well, does Black Widow come back, or do they do a prequel?
See, I personally think the movie's going to be a prequel. I feel like it's going to be...
I hope it's a prequel, because I think her origin story is, like...
Yeah,
super cool.
I think it'll be kind of hard with everything that's happened. I think it'd be kind of hard at this point to give her own movie, considering, obviously she's, like, top 1% talented, like, regular human beings, but, like, you take in the scope of all the Marvel heroes...
They set her up in a way where it would be hard for her.
Exactly. Especially at this point. I think if she would have got a solo movie that wasn't a prequel, it would have made sense back in, like, phase 2.
Unless they write her some kind of whole new story, which, well, think about it. They could do, let's say Iron Man, we're saying bye to him. I think that's pretty well...
See, I think he might stay.
But I'm thinking about Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah.
The character, the mantle might be passed to someone else, but I think Robert Downey Jr. is gone.
Yeah.
See, I
Maybe
don't know.
cameos. I think we might have some cameos.
That's what I was thinking. I think he's going to be tied to, like, just cameos.
I don't think we're going to have him being a big part of the story. And that goes to my point that I'm getting to. And then we have Captain America, Chris Evans, we know is heading out.
I'm assuming he's gone.
I think Hawkeye, we're not going to see too much from. Maybe an origin story. I don't think we're going to see too much after that. Maybe his new character, Ronan, is the name of... Yeah,
Ronan's his, like, side name that like he really becomes.
I don't know.
So.
But anyway, I feel like all these people who are very central around Black Widow are moving on, so maybe she then gets... Let's create for her a new... society that she's working with, like how she was working with S.H.I.E.L.D., how she was working with Avengers, something new, make her a new story, then maybe she could have some standalones.
That would be pretty cool to see if she's kind of the one that, Fury put together the Avengers. I don't think that, I mean, they might, but I don't think the term Avengers is going to be used moving forward. I feel like they're either going to be the new Avengers or...
led by Thor.
yeah.
The Revengers.
But yeah, I do think they're going to kind of pick up a new mantle just to kind of try and separate this next wave from, the original Iron Man, Captain America, Thor, Hulk group. Hulk's definitely someone I think that's going to stick around.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I think, what's the actor's name?
Mark Ruffalo?
Mark Ruffalo just enjoys it enough
to
stick around.
See, I feel like Chris Evans is done. Mark Ruffalo is, I think, they've given him better movies. They've, given him more.
Exactly. What's perfect about the Hulk is I think it's kind of hard to do a good solo movie just with the Hulk. I think he's a great, side, attitude. He's great in the Avengers as an accessory. He's great in Thor Ragnarok as, a side character that pushes forward the story. Mm-hmm. I just think the Hulk itself as a character, it's so strong, and when he transforms, it's kind of hard to make a believable.
And where else do you go with it after an origin story?
Exactly. So it's kind of hard to do a solo story. So I feel like they'll keep him along and then just kind of plug him in different. I wouldn't be surprised to see him somehow tied into Guardians of the Galaxy 3, or he helps out.
Oh my gosh, I feel like Mark Ruffalo would be so good in Guardians of the Galaxy 3. I don't know if James Gunn would put him in there. I feel like he has such a specific vision.
Yeah.
I don't know if it'll just fit in, but it'd be funny.
Yeah, I just think he's going to kind of fit around. Kind of how Black Widow was early on. She was in a lot of movies.
Yeah, but I didn't like her in those early movies.
Yeah, but all the Marvel movies have gotten better. So,
yeah.
I think Hulk stays. I do think Cap's as good as gone. But I definitely think Bucky's definitely coming back.
I forgot about him, and I've said that recently. I was like, I'm so excited for more Bucky, and I think it would be so good if we got some.
Yeah, I think he takes over the mantle of Captain America. I think
Captain America about to ask,
or are they going to mix him in as the White Wolf?
From the comics, we have two different options who take over Captain America.
Yeah.
You have Falcon, and you have Winter Soldier.
Yep,
Anthony Mackie. I feel like the way they set up Falcon, he loves being Falcon.
Yeah,
he loves it. I feel like he wouldn't want to take on Captain America.
Yeah.
But I do hope Anthony Mackie stays around. That guy's hilarious.
Anthony Mackie did die in the snap, right? Falcon did die? Okay.
Yes.
I was kind of excited to see Falcon and Carol interact because they were both pilots. That was Sam's character too. He was also a pilot, and then he developed.
He might come back.
Yeah. I do think he's coming.
Yeah, I think everyone's gonna. I think we're gonna see everyone.
Yeah, and then I agree. I think everyone comes back, and then certain people get killed. Who I don't think is coming back, at least not in Endgame. I do not think Gamora comes back.
I don't know.
That's hard.
Her and Loki. I feel like are so up in the air right now.
It's so up in the air. I feel like we're gonna see her. We are gonna see her because. There's going to be stuff that Thanos goes through that involves him seeing Gamora, whether it's alternate timeline, whether it's flashback, whether it's him dreaming. He's going to have to deal with that fact. He hasn't gotten over it yet, so he's going to see her. So we're going to see her.
She'll be in the movie. I don't think she comes back because she didn't die in the snap, but I am going to guess that a lot of Guardians of the Galaxy 3 revolves around trying to find her.
Maybe, but there's also speculation that Guardians of the Galaxy 3 may be an interstory because it's supposed to be 2 years between 2 and Infinity War. There's a time jump in there. Okay. So it could be a story in the middle.
That'll be interesting too.
But I don't know. There's so much that could happen with Endgame. There could be different time, like jumping through time, jumping through realms, like.
Yeah, I think it would just add a lot of weight.
That's why I haven't really tried to determine the specific path I think the movie's going to take. Because it could go every. Yeah,
it's so open. And as fun as it is to discuss theories, like I guarantee, like we couldn't even nail like a quarter of what actually happens in the movie.
I'm excited / sad to know where Shuri is. The posters were released this week, and Shuri's in the dark.
Yep. Yeah. So that was pretty neat too. It gave us more. I'm not going to say closure, but it really went into who did die from the snap. Yeah, okay, yeah, there you go. So, yeah, closure was the right term.
I was speculating wildly about where Shuri was, and now we know.
Yeah, and so...
I think that might have been one of the ones where we hoped maybe they pop up again in the movie, but...
Yeah. Oh, Walt...
It's my dog trying to kill himself.
Just banged his head into the table.
Yeah. He's okay, though.
Yeah, he's fine. He's fine.
Mildly concussed.
No concussion. Trying to think of who else we kind of saw pop up. Wong. He was on a poster.
Yes.
Yeah, he's been in a couple posters now.
Because he just pieced out and didn't help at all.
That was so funny when he pieced out.
But so he'll be back. Who else did we see pop up? There was someone else who was like not in the movie, but they gave her a poster and I was really excited about. Who was it? It was...
I can't think of who it is.
Oh, maybe it was Gwyneth Paltrow. Maybe.
Yeah, I just pulled up the posters I was looking. Yeah, it was Gwyneth Paltrow. And so is Happy's also still alive. He got his own poster.
Yeah, I did see that one.
Yeah, who we didn't, see at all.
Yep.
Although there is a really good deleted scene we recently saw from that jogging scene where Happy shows up.
Yes, I've seen that too. That was really funny.
He would have been in the movie.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting that they put Loki in the... Is Gamora in the posters too?
Yes.
Okay. I was going to say, at first I thought it was only people that got snapped. But
No. It's everyone who
passed away.
Vision is one of them too, I believe.
Yeah. Yeah, well, yeah, that's true. He does. Vision dies before the snap because he uses the time stone and brings it back. And then, which was brutal. That was pretty dark. That, Scarlet Witch gets forced to pretty much kill the man she loves. Just to watch it get undone, and then he dies right in front of her again.
Valkyrie.
Oh yes!
Valkyrie. That was the one I was excited about. She's in color. She shows up. I'm assuming that she didn't get snapped. Because they have that whole the Asgardian ship was
destroyed.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that was one thing I wish they would have addressed in the movies, but one of the Russo brothers said that in an interview that there was a separate ship that she was on.
Yeah.
Her and Korg and all of them.
Thor does mention he killed half of my population.
Yep. Yeah. Exactly.
But then, he destroys that ship. Yeah. So
there must have been who I was talking about, because I'm excited to have, and I'm assuming, she's on the poster. She's going to be in the movie.
Tessa Thompson's great, and I loved her as Valkyrie.
I loved her so much, so I'm excited.
Yeah, she was a fun character in Thor Ragnarok, and so I'm excited to see more of her.
So, yeah.
I'm excited to see how she ties in with everyone. How she interacts with someone else.
I'm excited to see more of Rocket interacting with the rest of the Avengers, too.
Yes.
Well, we have such a different, group now.
Yeah.
I mean, you have all of the main Avengers there still. You have the classic core group from the first movie. But now you do have a very diverse, secondary group joining them.
I need some Rocket and Tony Stark scenes.
Oh. So
those sound great.
But it'll be interesting because we know. I think we're pretty set that there's going to be some interaction between Tony Stark and Nebula, which I feel like
it's a very odd pairing.
Yeah,
I think we can assume that's going to be probably. I'd imagine that's the opening of the movie is them in space.
Well, they're together, right? As of the end of Infinity War, they're together, so that's going to have to be something.
Yeah, that was one of the big.
They split everyone up so well, and paired them up, and we've seen scenes where Rocket and Thor are, still together, and they were funny, and
they were great
Infinity
together.
War, so that should be good.
Space Pirate Angel.
Now they're all sad, so I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's like you said, how you were kind of excited to see Falcon and Marvel. I mean, there's so many different personality pairings that are going to be great to see.
Exactly, and I think that's what's made the MCU so great is not many people could have expected how well Marvel's been able to balance all these personalities. Yeah. They've managed to make all these different characters fit in together, and it's been really impressive.
So, who do you think is going to be the main player or the biggest players in Endgame?
I think there's going to be kind of a passing the torch moment between... We know Thor's sticking around, right? I think there's going to be kind of a passing... Because I'm pretty sure they said they want to make another Thor movie.
Really?
And yeah, they're bringing back...
I heard that too.
And they're bringing back the director from Ragnarok, Waititi. I think there's going to be kind of a passing the torch moment between Thor and Captain Marvel. I think Captain Marvel is going to be kind of the big person.
I'm excited just because, obviously he wasn't in Infinity War to see Ant-Man do something.
I am so excited to watch him interact with everyone. I love Paul Rudd. He's so funny.
Oh gosh, I love him
and
so
he
much.
handles the role of Scott
from his
so
friend
well.
days all the way to now.
Yeah, he's great. I'm so happy that he's in the MCU. And I'm sure I'd imagine he's gonna stick around and be one of the big players too in the future movies.
I would hope so.
Yeah. Especially with
But all that, I think he's gonna be slightly a bigger role.
Yeah.
Role. Like,
Yeah.
He's gonna be
one of the main
figuring
forces.
out,
Yeah, I agree.
Well, I think they're gonna use that quantum realm. Nonsense.
Exactly. Nonsense. It's all science, I tell you. It's all science. I do think the quantum realm's gonna play a pretty big part into it. I think that's the whole reason we saw it in the post credits for Ant-Man.
It's a good point.
Yeah. He's gonna be a player. That's all I'm saying.
We know he gets out of it somehow. That'll be really interesting to see how he gets out, because at the end of Ant-Man and Wasp, we know that they were supposed to pull him out. Yeah.
Do you think someone, the villain who then becomes good, not Ghost, but the scientist, maybe he kind of shows up and helps them or something?
Talking about Lawrence Fishburne.
Goliath.
Yes.
Yeah, that was really cool.
Because
he was Goliath.
He knows about the science and kind of about the machine. Maybe he somehow helps him out.
It would be easy enough to write him into the story, bring him into Endgame.
Because maybe he'll figure out a way to get out of himself, but that would be some awful quick thinking.
Yeah.
If Michelle Pfeiffer was stuck in there so long.
Yeah.
I don't know characters' names. I just refer to them
as their actors and actresses. Yeah, I do that sometimes too. I interweave. Like earlier, I called him Falcon, then I called him Sam, which is his regular name. Then I called him Anthony Mackie. So it's just something that happens. Yeah, there you go, Janet.
What about one of the earlier theories that developed after that first trailer is that he doesn't actually come out in the same timeline.
Oh, and he has to
And
wait.
that is why because in that first trailer, he asks, when was this message from?
And it says archive at the top.
Yeah.
Because he's like, oh, hey guys.
Think about how long ago this trailer feels to us.
I know.
God, this trailer happened. Oh.
So one of the thoughts on this is that he actually hops time, however he ends up getting out. And that obviously leads them to creating this theory of going back, forward, however in time.
Yeah.
And then obviously that also jumps into the idea of obviously them going to the quantum realm, and we see them in their special suits in the newest trailer.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see what those suits have to do with anything.
Makes them look
Well, I
cool.
think they're going to be
Their team.
Yeah.
quantum suits. And think about the
That
time.
would be interesting if it's quantum related.
About I think this movie's going to span some time. This is because if they're somehow having to make new suits and new tech, get Tony home I'm assuming Tony's going to make these suits.
Yeah. Well, see, what's interesting is they've said that this is all from the first 15 minutes.
Right.
Well, it's all from the first 15 minutes, but how that 15 minutes could span 20 years.
Okay, you mean time span
Right.
as far as the in universe.
No,
yeah, I was going to say earlier, I said it was 3 hours and 2 minutes.
Endgame is like one day.
Yeah.
And once you get into this could be this could
be
span
a while.
year.
Yeah.
Well, I think really it is.
Think about, because I'm assuming it's going to pick up around the snap. But think about the scenes we've seen from the trailers with the Statue of Liberty with all the boats that have washed up on shore.
Yeah.
There's time.
I do think there has been a lot of the time.
I think there'll be a significant time skip. To be honest.
I also
skip
Yeah, whether or not it's a couple months or a few years.
It'll have to be because they have those missing posters.
They have the missing posters, and you see all the different like signage and stuff in the different
what
trailers.
Kat says, like some people move on, we don't. So maybe this has been some time.
It's kind of accepted that some people aren't coming back. Yeah,
this tragedy has happened, and we have to move on.
Yeah.
So here's a thought. Obviously, we see the trailer where Captain Marvel comes and shows up. What if she finds Tony Stark along the way? Because obviously, he's in some sort of distress. It's assumed maybe on a ship.
I think you just nailed it. I wouldn't... Oh.
She finds him and picks him up. They do that whole scene where she shows up and then Tony Stark comes out behind.
Yeah, and which would be nuts. Like, it's so crazy to think about.
Yes, Tony Stark won't know that Fury's gone. So maybe they kind of trust each other talking about Fury. And then they go to look for him, and then they're, that could work.
That could work. And what's going to be nuts, I'm so excited. We have not seen Tony and Cap interact since Civil War.
Yeah.
Think about how long it's been. Civil War came out, I think, the weekend I graduated, so 2016. So that's 3 years now we've gone without them interacting, which is crazy to think about.
Yeah, well, and that is the time because when Hulk comes back and is like, call Cap, he's like, we haven't talked in years.
Yeah, we haven't talked in years. Yeah.
And that's so weird to think about that they didn't talk for years.
Right? It's so cool. There's so many little things.
He didn't say years. He said we're not on speaking terms.
Yeah, we're not on speaking terms. But we know plenty of times.
But a lot's happened.
But they say later that, they say at some point that Hulk has been gone for 2 years. Like, that, isn't that sad? They give it a year.
Yeah, they say Hulk's been gone for a certain amount of time. Let's see. What makes it interesting, though? Oh, yeah, the timeline's kind of messy. No, Hulk's not in Civil War.
No, not at all.
Okay.
Because they mentioned that, because they say, Bruce Banner, where's he?
Yeah, okay.
And then he's obviously on the car.
Yeah, that's right. I was trying to just figure out, I was like, wait, hold on. Because I forgot that he wasn't in Civil War. I was like, wait, we know he's been gone for 2 years, but then Peter's been the same age. That's what it was. It confused me for a second. I was like, no, okay, well, Hulk's been gone since Ultron was when Hulk got shipped off.
Yes.
Yeah. So we went a while without seeing Hulk, too.
Now I want to watch Ragnarok just to see that whole Thor Hulk.
I just recently watched it. It's so
low.
great. Yeah, sun's getting low, real low, big guy, and just gets walloped. Yeah.
That's how it feels.
I'm going to have to do... I wonder... I'm deciding right now. I'm going to rewatch all the Marvel movies before seeing Endgame. I feel like that'd be a fun thing to do.
I watched Infinity War last week while you were at work.
We'd have to watch a lot. You pretty much almost have to watch...
It'd be like a solid 2 or 3 days.
Yeah, if you wanted to sit through and power it all out, that'd be impressive. I was trying to think of how much you'd have to watch a week to where leading up to it.
I think it's like 60 hours to watch them all.
Yeah.
That was 40. I thought that was like
someone just posted something.
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure.
I feel like you really, though, if you wanted to just get the plot points, you could skip Hulk, obviously. Honestly,
no, I need the full. I'm going to watch every single Marvel movie.
I want to watch Iron Man 3 just because I haven't seen it in forever. Iron Man 2...
That's another pretty insignificant one.
Iron Man 2 is on Hulu if you want to watch it.
Well, I have... If we want to watch it, I have every single one.
What?
Yeah,
there's so many holes I have.
Yeah,
okay,
that's
so
what. Yeah, that's what my grandma gets me every year. She gets me the Blu-rays for whatever Marvel movies came out.
Very nice.
Yeah,
That's a wonderful tradition.
Right? It is. So it's funny because it's been going on for like 11 years now.
I mean, we buy all the new ones,
Yeah.
but some of those older ones before. I mean, we started dating. He got me to watch Guardians, and then all of a sudden we were in this Marvel world together. That literally is how it happened. I had previously seen the other ones, but I wasn't this huge fan. Get all the story together.
All right, so there's 20 films, so we'd have to watch like 5 a week.
I mean, we'd watch 5 movies a week.
Yeah, that's not too bad.
No, it's really not.
It's just finding the time that we can all sit down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I'm trying to see. I can't find a runtime, but okay. All right, so here we go. This answers it too. Remember the last episode? I was trying to say that the phase 1, 2, 3, 4 we're obviously building towards this story, but I didn't know the official term before we launch in the next wave of phases. So phase 1, 2, 3, and 4 are called the Infinity Saga.
Okay.
Because all of those build towards the Infinity.
Saga.
So it's the Infinity Saga. So the next saga coming up is, phases 5, 6, 7. So
yet to be determined if there'll be a saga to that.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm sure they will. It'll be really interesting to see. Now we're moving a little past
Well,
Endgame, but
That's okay.
yeah, and that's okay. It'll be interesting to see how they, what the next big battle be. and I'm sure we'll get more into this when we
It'll
finally
be
watch
it'll be
Endgame.
something. I mean, they took this whole Infinity Saga from the comic, so I mean, whatever they do next is going to be inspired by the comic.
I would love I'm interested to see you lighting up. I'd love to see if Doctor Doom.
That's what I was going to say.
Okay.
I want the Doctor Doom storyline.
A lot of people are saying
alternate.
Yep.
They think if they do another big storyline that they'll do something along the lines of Secret Wars. Which
Secret Wars. That's what I would love. Secret Wars. Me and Jeff were just talking about that. It would be so interesting to see how they handle it, because in Secret Wars, Kat and Tony are huge, parts of the story. Obviously Spider-Man's a big part of it too. So it'll be neat to see.
That would work because of how the MCU likes to take an inspiration and
twist it.
So they could do Secret Wars even if Cap and Tony aren't.
It would be really cool too if that's how they if they finally bring in the symbiote. Like symbiote Spider-Man is found in Secret Wars. That's when he finds it the first time. So it'd be really cool if that's how they finally bring him into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, if they are allowed to. I know Sony's trying to pump out Venom movies.
Well, and they have done a good job, twisting the storylines from the comics to fit, because obviously when it comes to Age of Ultron, we didn't have Hank Pym or Ant-Man or any of them.
Invented.
Hank Pym is the one who makes Ultron in the comics.
Exactly. They've definitely shown that they're able to, take inspiration from the comics but put their own twist on it.
Yeah, and I think it ends up working cool. It's a good kind of nod to the comics a lot of times, different references and characters.
Yeah, it makes it fun for people that do follow comics, because you think you know where it's going, and then they do a cool twist. And then in the same vein, it's easy to pick up all the small references to the comics when there's certain things dropped in the movies.
Mm-hmm. Anything else to add to the conversation here?
I'm trying to think. I think we did a pretty good job.
Lots of bouncing around, but lots of stuff to be excited for.
This is what our brains are doing for the next month. So.
Exactly. It all ties perfectly into the Infinity Saga that I now know. It just ties perfectly into Endgame. Every time we got off track, it attributes to Endgame. It just goes to show how good they've been at tying these 20 movies into one story.
Yeah. And for our listeners, we actually wanted to do something a little bit special. Obviously, we hit upon this in our conversation ourselves, but we wanted to engage with everyone who enjoys listening to us a little bit. So if you don't, go ahead and follow us on Twitter. That's at PMAN Podcast. No space or anything in there, right?
Nope, no space. Just PMAN Podcast.
Yep. And let us know, who do you think the MVP of Endgame is going to be?
Yeah, we want to know.
Just tweet at us and let us know what you think. And maybe next week we'll go through and talk about some of the answers real quick.
Oh, that'd be a fun way. We'll do that in catching up. That'd be pretty neat.
Share your name and your MVP.
Yep. And even if
we'll decide who
if you aren't on Twitter, you can also, if you're listening, you could shoot us a message. Like whether it's a text, Facebook message, you could email us. Like as many, responses as we get, we'd love to include them.
Yeah, for sure. Please, 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 go ahead, tweet at us, let us know. And anything else that you want to discuss with us, if you have feedback for the show, or you have an idea for a topic you'd like us to talk about, you can always, obviously, tweet at us at PMAN Podcast. You can also email us at prettymuchanythingnerdy@gmail.com. Again, that's prettymuchanythingnerdy@gmail.com. And I think that's going to bring us to the close of the episode. Thank you guys so much for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. If you have anything else, I just said all this, so I'm going to go and breeze past that. But episode 6 of Pretty Much Anything Nerdy is being recorded on March 29th, 2019, and music is BitQuest by Kevin MacLeod. Thanks, guys.
See ya!